from the illegals violating our sovereignty, Brad told the Times, espousing a common talking point among Trump supporters. It's my God given right to be here, he said. The guys in Washington. Oh, so let me skip that.
It's all right. It's all right. But that's an idea. That gives you an idea of how some of our people act. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? They hate you. You may think that it's all gonna be good as long as you get your green card or you become a citizen, that you're gonna be all right. But let me tell you something. As long as you're Hispanic, Black, or Native American, Indian, you will never be all right in this country.
Right.
Since the 1920s, Mexicans have never been all right in this country. Since the early 1700s, black people have never been okay in this country. Native American Indians have never been okay in this country. What you're looking at here is this picture of a veteran holding up a banner that says bring deported veterans home. These are veterans that have been deported. These are our Hispanic veterans. These people served in the army. These people served a country that supposedly, what's their motto? Leave no man behind. If you're in the army, if you're in the military, their motto is leave no man behind. But yet, you know what? These men served and they're being thrown out of this country. Even though they serve this country proudly, look, they still have the nerve to wear uniforms. And this that you're seeing here is the bridge that crosses the borderline. This is the traffic going across the border. You see that? And these are the military soldiers that have been deported to Mexico. They now sit in Tijuana. These are the people that are out there that were deported by ICE. And people don't even know that. But they're over here thinking that everything is okay. That as long as you serve in the military, as long as you do your goddamn taxes, as long as you speak English, you will not be deported. You'll be okay.
Concert, and also the brother who made that comment about putting them in gas chambers and lining them up and shooting them, he seemed like his name. I haven't done like deeper research, but he sounds like his name is Delgado Gonzalez. That's damn near is correct. You know, I'm not sure if it's correct, but most likely is a damn is correct. You know,
Hispanic.
Right, Hispanic, right.
And I want to quote something that he said based on, and it has to do with what you're saying. And this is quote, but I took an oath to protect my country, and what's happening on the border is an invasion threatening our people. Right. Gonzalez said, these men are patriots and I'm proud to stand alongside them.
Right.
And it says, according to the Times, Gonzalez identified himself as an Army veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right. I mean, how are you not going to have that post-traumatic stress disorder when you're out there killing people?
Right.
And then you find out you're killing people for oil, for the benefit of another country, for the benefit of America. You know what? That's always been the case. People have fought in these wars in El Salvador, in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Central America, to better America. Not to fight for freedom, but to better America. You know what I'm saying? And this is what happened to these people now. All that happens is, look at these twins dream of joining U.S. military despite DACA status. The problem with our people are mentally ill. You know why? Because they want to serve a country that hates them.
Right.
What other person would do that? How would you go and serve the person who's murdering your people? How are you going to go and stand next to those that hate your own people? You know, what kind of mental issue must you have? What is it called?
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm Syndrome. That's what it's called. Today, people have Stockholm Syndrome. Do you know why? Because Stockholm Syndrome is that you're going to go serve your master. And you're going to love your master. And you know what? Today, that's the problem with our people. And let me tell you something. This right here is nothing new. In the 1930s, Eisenhower deported over 1 million Mexican Americans, known as Chicanos, who didn't speak a drop of Spanish. And you know what they did? They deported these people. They took them out of America and sent them across the border to Mexico and to Central America. And you know why they did that? I'll tell you why they did that. They did that because these people owned property. These people were already here. These people were generations of people that were speaking English, that had children here, that lived in this country. And you know what they did? They deported them. What happened to the properties that they owned? What happened to their homes? What happened to the businesses that they might have owned? If they owned farmland, what happened to their farmland? I'll tell you what happened to their farmland and their properties and their businesses. It was taken from them. It was taken from them, and you know who owns it today? The white man owns it today. Today they have possession of all that used to be Chicano peoples. You know what I'm saying? Today the people that were deported in those days were the people living in, in the Chavez Ravine, and where Dodger Stadium is today. And you know what? They deported those people and put a Dodger Stadium over their homes. Because you know what? That's what they do to us. That's the way they destroy us. In 1849, the white man came in search for gold. And in order to take our property and take the gold mines, what they do? They call the Mexican thieves and rapists and robbers. And with that pretext, they stole our land. And today, white people own Santa Barbara. White people own San Diego. White people own San Francisco, Los Angeles, Santa Ana, and all these places that were once prevalent Hispanic communities. And today they're owned by the same man that robbed, raped, murdered, and hated us. You have something else for? Go ahead.
It's the first Maccabees 1 and 11. And those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So I was talking about that brother, he's a wicked Israelite. Right. And he's siding with the heathens. He's siding with America, siding with the enemies instead of siding with his people.
Right. And let me say something real quick too.
Go ahead.
And then that cat right there, I know cats like that. You know what I mean? You know that whitewashed Mexicans who want to side, who like being around white people and hate them Hispanics. You know what I mean? Well, he probably does know this. That them white people that he around call him a beaner, in front of his face. You know what I mean? We knew a cat like that. You remember we knew some brother that he hung out with white people and they used to call him nigga in front of his face, just to make fun of him. Joking around, calling him nigga and everything like that. And he used to take it. You know what I mean? And that's what they do to most of those Mexicans. And then them white folks you around calling you beaner, calling you wetback, making fun of you in front of your face. But you still out there kissing their behind. You know what I mean? Because you just a sellout.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Why would you want to be around those type of cats and not be around your people? You understand? I'd rather suffer with my people than be with my enemy who making fun of me right in front of my face. Right. You know what I mean? That don't make no sense. Go ahead.
So if I could, I want to touch too, and white people know, they know what's up. They know that their people is against you.
Right.
And the fact that, that brother's kicking it with them, they know in their mind, man, my people don't like this people, but he's here with us and he knows it, but he still chooses to be with us and be against his own people, so they treat him like shit.
Right. And one more thing too was that, I remember he said in the article, he said that America was a great country, right? He said that America was a great country and he'd rather fight with the patriarch, or what did he say? The Patriots? He said there was something about the Patriots or whatever. He want to fight with them.
Right.
Not knowing that America's the one that destroyed his country. He want to side with America because America's a great country. It's a superpower. And Mexico is a poor country. They call it a third world country. You know what I mean? But he don't know that Mexico is a third world country because America destroyed it. You know what I mean? America destroyed Mexico and Central America and South America. And because they destroyed these countries, now all these Hispanics want to run to America because they think it's great. But they don't know that America is the reason why Mexico is poor, that there's cartels, that there's drugs and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what they got to understand, that America is the reason why we struggle.
Right.
America is the reason why we're in poverty. You know what I mean? America's the one behind the cartels.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't even know that. That America's the one that funded the cartels, that gave the cartels guns. What is that?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Operation Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? Them cartels have all them military weapons. You know what I mean? They have military weapons. You would think that the cartels are a bunch of cats running in you know, chanclas and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
These cats are straight booted up, vest, you know, geared up. Right. Because America gave them those weapons so that they can kill each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? We shouldn't hate our people. We should hate the people that are destroying us.
Right.
Which is America, so-called white man. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Charwan.
So like I was gonna say also, you know, that's that crafty council right there. That's the white man's crafty council, because now he's able to say, oh look, we gotta build this wall because they out there killing each other for drugs. You know, they're running the cartels. They're over there shooting each other with automatic weapons, throwing grenades at each other. We're the other ones who set them up to do that.
Right, gun.
And that reminds me too. So like just that reminds me what Adawan said to touch on the point that you brought out at the beginning of the video where you were saying how we try to be like America.
Yeah.
That goes back to the crafty council. You know, like our people or like the gang members now, they don't stand for anything right. You know, they stand for everything wrong.
Right,
like at the beginning it was supposed to be a positive thing, but now it's just corrupt. You know, it went way left because at the end of the day they're not standing with the Lord. And when you look at it, they're really, you know, doing the work of the white man.
Right.
They're out there shooting their own people. They're out there selling dope to their own people.
Right.
That's what the police is doing with the crack epidemic. They put drugs in the streets just so they could say, look, they're selling drugs. Let's go over there and handcuff them. Let's go over there and abuse them and shoot them. Right. That's what they did it so they could come at us and have a reason to come at us the way they do, and they kill us, you know.
And let me tell you something. You know, we're not like them. We're poor, man. Mexicans, blacks, Hispanics, blacks, Native American Indians, man. We poor. We poor people, man. Like, you know, we do with whatever we got. These people have more than enough, and they can never get enough.
Right.
They go beyond, you know. You got these children begging for their moms and their dads not to be deported. These people are separating families today. They're separating Hispanic families. They're destroying black families, killing their children. You know what I'm saying? What are the brothers that, you know, when these black black brothers and sisters are getting killed in the street, man, you know, forget about the guy getting killed. What about the families? You know, what about the little sister who has to live with that her brother got shot? How about the young brother who you know, played with this older brother all the time, and then one day he no longer comes home because the police killed him? How about the mom that's got to deal with a lost child? You know what I'm saying? This is what happens to us Hispanics. You know, we get locked up and we get taken from our families. You know what I'm saying? How many of us don't have a loved one who's locked up? You know, how many of us don't know somebody who's locked up? If you're black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, man, in your family, someone's locked up. Your homie, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, but you got somebody locked up in these prison systems that America has developed for the incarceration and destruction of the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. We're poor people. You know what I'm saying? We don't, you know what the white man has? The white man has humongous churches, mega churches, where they hold their meetings, $1 million places, while outside in the sidewalk, you got brothers and sisters living in tents. You know what I'm saying? We're poor people. You know what we do as Christ did? Our Lord Yahweh Shai, he would go to the houses and hold meetings in their own houses because you know what? They couldn't afford places like that. They couldn't afford synagogues. So what do? They'd be like, let's all meet at this house. And in this house, they make the best of it, just the way we do. We make the best of whatever we got. We ain't got that communication specialist. We ain't got that multi-million-dollar, cable network or TV network. We don't, man. We got simple objects that we use, simple ways of communication to get our message out. But you know what? The Lord blesses us with creativity. The Lord blesses us with find a way, and we're going to use whatever we got to make it work. Our brothers and sisters are being killed shot, murdered on the streets. And you know what we're arguing about? We're arguing about who's an African, who's not Israel, who is Israel, who's saying the wrong word, who's doing this and that. Petty. Our people are being killed. Let me tell you something. This man, Cuauhtemoc Juarez, he was a U.S. citizen. He was married to a woman who was not a U.S. citizen. And this man served in the military, and yet his wife was deported. His wife was taken from her children, taken from her husband, and deported after this man served. Let me tell you something. These Mexican people supposedly are serving this country for its safety. Isn't that what they're doing? Aren't they serving a country to keep it safe? And in return, they're deporting their families. They're separating their families. You got these people sitting in lines, sitting in the tents, sitting in detention centers. And these people, they come here to America to serve this country, supposedly to help this country to be free. What kind of freedom do they get? In return, they get locked up. In return, their families get separated. It's time we wake up and we realize that you're serving a nation that hates you. We're serving a nation who's done nothing but destroy us. You got a precept on that?
You do. Lamentations 4:17.
Oh, give me that Lamentations 4:17. We're serving a country that, you know what the Bible says, that you know that we're relying on someone who can never help us. We're relying on a nation that has never had love for us. We're relying on a nation that has never looked out for us. Come on, man. 1930, our people were deported in the Deportation Act, in the Repatriation Act. We're marching for freedom in 1965. The Treaty of Hidalgo was made way before that, and we're still trying to fight for our rights. You got that? Give me that.
The book of Lamentations 4:17. As for us, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, read. Our eyes as yet fail for our vain help.
Because we failed, man. These people, these Hispanics, are joining the army, joining the Navy. They're going into the military. They're joining the police force. They're out there becoming politicians. And you know what? They're out there doing no good for the Black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian. Read.
Go. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us.
And we watch for a nation that cannot save us. We are in line to serve a nation that hates us. We line up, man. We go to colleges. You're out there trying to get a degree, trying to go through your college, trying to get all this nonsense to serve a nation that hates you. You're going to become a lawyer to lock up your own people. You're going to become a politician to pass laws that are going against Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. You're going to go to a film school and you're going to learn film to produce movies that deteriorate your own people, your own race. You're going to become a musician and make music that shows your people how to be homosexuals, that shows your people how to be less than what they are.
Right.
Anything you gain in this country is worthless. Anything you do in this country is worthless. What you're going to do is you're going to join a nation that hates you.
Right.
You're going to join America, and America has never done anything for any Black, any Hispanic, or any Native American Indian. That's why the Native American Indian still lives on reservations to this day.
Right.
And they served in World War II. They were the ones who invented the code talkers, to win the war for America. The Mexican people, man, we fought in Vietnam. We fought in World War II. We fought in the Korean War. We fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. And our people are now finding themselves in encampments in the borders of America because we've been deported, because we've been separated from our families, because we have served a nation that has never loved us. And our Black brothers and sisters find themselves being shot in the street, pulled over by white police officers, beaten with their knee on their neck and a gunshot to the brain, to the head, to the back. and being beaten and killed. Do you know why? Because we've chosen to go against the Lord. And when we went against the Lord, these punishments have come against us. Let me tell you something. You may not believe in the Bible. You may think that the Bible is some religious book, but the Bible has told a story that has unfolded in these appointed times. In these times when we see today, when we go into our media, into our phones, into our computers, and we see these killings of our brothers and sisters every day. If you don't feel anything when you see this, it's because you too have been brain dead. It's because you too have been manipulated into a trance of where you no longer care for your brothers and sisters. And who are my brothers and sisters? My brothers and sisters are the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians.
That's right.
Who believe in this truth, who believe in what's happening to our people, who see the tragedies, who see the death, and feel something for these people. Right. Man, I love my black brothers. I love my Mexican brothers. I love my Hispanic, Latin American, Native American, Indian brothers. Do you know why I have love for them? Because I feel something when I see these things happening to them. Because in me, I get a knot in my throat that tells me that if I was there at that moment, I probably would have been killed right there with them. Because I probably react in a way that is not righteous. But you know what? What does it say? Oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Right.
And that's what happens to me when I see my brothers and sisters being oppressed in the streets of America today. And I see it every time I go into my media. Every time I go into Facebook, every time I go into YouTube, every time I go into any of these media sources, I see what's happening to my people. And you know what? It's a sad thing to see this. And when are we going to wake up? When are we going to start, you know what, raising our voice and calling our people to wake up to this reality of what's happening to the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian? Go ahead, Lahab.
No, one that they want to mention too is that a lot of Hispanics don't see that. You know what I mean? They don't really see the oppression, or maybe they do. Maybe they do see the oppression that goes on between Hispanic people, but they don't want to speak up because in their mind they're living the American dream.
God.
You know what I mean? They left Mexico. They're not in poverty no more. What they'd rather do is come over here and work that 12-hour shift, 13-hour shift. You know what I mean? Have their home. You know what I mean? And just, you know, not have no problems. They're comfortable with that. You know, I talk to a lot of Hispanics in my slavery, and I try to explain the truth to them, and all they can say is, well, you know, I just have my job, I have my family, and that's it. They don't care about nothing. You know what I mean? They don't care about nothing that happens with the deportation. You know what I mean? Or Hispanics get put in the detention centers. You know, as long as they have their family, they have their home, and they have their job, they're okay. Right. They're okay with that. You know what I mean? That's a problem with the Hispanics. You know what I mean? That they're too comfortable in America. You know what I mean?
Right.
Working as long as they have a 12-hour shift, they're cool with that. You know what I mean? You got to go beyond that, man. You got to see what's going on with your people because that can happen to you at any moment. At any moment, if you're Hispanic in America, you can't get deported back to Mexico because the white man don't give a damn what you do. You know what I mean? He don't care how hard you work. If you served in the military or whatever it may be, you can't get deported, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we got to see that. You know what I mean? We got to go beyond of having a job and having a home. You know what I mean? You can lose that in a moment.
Right.
We got to come together as one people, like what the Bible says.
Right.
You got to understand that we're all being oppressed in America. We're all going through the same struggles. And that the white man hates us all.
Right.
You know what I mean? The white man hate all Black and Hispanic and Native American people. You understand? And we should flood into the UPK. Goddamn, you know what I mean? Coming to the school, coming to the Israelite school, UPK, man, well, we can take care of you. You understand? You know, Commander Yohana ain't letting no Hispanic get deported. You're not allowed to get deported if you're Hispanic and in the UPK. You understand? You should come to the school, come to these classes, learn how to serve the Lord so that the Lord can be with you.
That's right.
So the Most High can be with you. You understand? Right. You can be Hispanic. You can have no papers. You know what I mean? And the Lord gonna be with you, man, if you serve Him.
Right.
You understand? You should come to UPK if you're Mexican, Salvadoran, Guatemalan, Nicaragua, whatever it may be. You Hispanic, man, and you ain't got no papers, you come serve the Lord, man, so the Lord can be with you and He can protect you.
Right.
He can take care of you, man. And not only that, you'll have brothers that are right behind you. You'll have black brothers that are behind you. West Indians, you understand? And other Hispanics that have your back. You understand? We all understand we're all hated. We all understand we have one enemy. You understand? And we all have one God that we got to serve. You understand?
That's right.
Go ahead, Kazak.
You know, that's so true, because you know what happens today is that we forget. We forget that our brothers and sisters need guidance, because you know what? We've been through a lot. If you were raised up in the 80s, if you're from the 80s, you should understand that we've been through a lot. If you've been through the 90s, man, you should understand that we've been through a lot. And every decade seems that we're attacked by our enemy. In the 80s, they flooded our neighborhoods with drugs and destroyed our communities and destroyed our families. The black family was affected the most in the 80s with the crack epidemic and the drug epidemic that the white man brought into our communities. And you know what? Families were being destroyed. Man, I remember that there was moms that were being addicted to drugs. And they were going from being regular house moms to being whores in the streets, leaving their children uncared for. You know what I'm saying? It was an epidemic. An epidemic is a big word to use, but that's exactly what it was. It became an epidemic for our people. It became something so tragic. It was like a war that happened, a nightmare that happened to our people. Still, people are recovering today from the destruction that happened to us in that time. And let me tell you something. Black people didn't bring that into the communities. Mexicans didn't bring that into the communities. The white man bring that into our communities.
That's right.
It was a planned way to do things to destroy our people. And you know what? That's exactly what they did. Today, there's generations feeling the aftermath of what happened to us.
You get Psalms 83?
This is an epidemic that happened, and still people are recovering to this day from the destruction that they bring on our people. It's a shame that somebody would do this to another race of people on purpose. We became the test dummies for these people. You know what I'm saying? We became like I'm saying like the medical test for them. They were testing all these drugs on us and destroying our families. The Hispanic community, we went through the same thing. They bring all these drugs and all these gangs into our neighborhoods, and we destroyed them. We were self-destructing ourselves throughout the 80s and then the 90s. You got that precept? Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Held not thy peace, and be not still, O God. Verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Stop right there. And that crafty counsel is what Kazaki was going into. You know, the crap epidemic. You understand? That's what the white man did to black and Hispanic people to destroy them.
Right.
Not only, remember, I believe it was the 70s was the heroin.
Right.
80s was cocaine. Right? 90s was crack. Right. And after they put all them drugs in our communities, then they gentrified your communities.
Right.
Then they threw you in prison.
Right.
You understand? There's always been some type of plan on how to destroy black and Hispanic people. Right. And after that, homosexuality.
Right.
You know, they flooded homosexuality in the music and TV and everything like that.
Right.
There's always some type of plan to destroy us. But, you know, ain't nobody see it. You know what I mean? And like Christian church don't ever bring that out. Why don't they ever bring out how they're destroying our people?
Right.
You know, the crack epidemic, man, that's still around today.
Right.
Man, I brought out earlier, man, I see my friends, you know, I'm a young cat. And I see cats that I knew from like elementary, high school. I see them today, and these cats is on full out, what do you call it, methamphetamine. Methamphetamine, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Face sucked in. I'd be like, God damn, what happened to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what the white man did. He put those drugs in our communities, man. Right. And I see my homeboys from the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Full out, what do you call it, tweakers.
Tweakers.
You know what I mean?
God.
Methamphetamine. And you know, I don't, you know, I blame the white man for that because
Right.
he put them drugs in our communities,
Right.
man. You understand? That's that crafty counsel, though. That's the crafty counsel. And the beginning of that scripture says, "Hold not thy peace." You know what I mean? We pray to the Lord that He hold not His peace, that He bring, you know, His judgment upon these other nations.
Right.
You know what I mean? That his sister, you know, them cops that killed that sister, man.
That pregnant sister.
That pregnant sister. You know what I mean? You gotta pray to the Lord, man, that He just bring He show His anger, man. He
Right.
show no mercy upon them Edomites.
Right.
The so-called white man. That He judge America for
Right.
what He did to our people. Because you don't understand real quick that the Most High is the only one that can give us justice. It don't matter how much you march, how much you beg. You know what I mean? America could never give you justice.
Right.
That's why we got to go to the Lord for justice.
Right.
You understand? You got to think about all. You know what I mean? You know, your family members are on crack. Your family members are on drug addicts.
Right.
Your family members that got killed from the police. You understand? The Lord is the only one that can give you justice for that. You understand? You can't ever go to the court and they'll give you justice, but the Most High will give you justice. You understand?
Right.
Go ahead, cause coming down. Go ahead.
Real quick, Oscar Ward, get that the precept of the story of Moses where he kills the Egyptian. Go ahead.
So like you said, this is a precept when you talk about how the churches are not speaking out.
Go ahead.
Is Isaiah chapter 56 verse 10 and 11. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs.
Right.
They cannot bark.
Right.
Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Verse 11. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. They are shepherds that cannot understand.
Right.
They
the
all.
watchmen, that's like the watchmen, right? Meaning this, bottom line, our watchmen who are what? The pastors, the Christian church.
Right.
They're the ones that are supposed to be speaking out, watchmen, which means to watch over us, take care of us. They're supposed to look out when danger is coming, and they don't do that.
Right.
They don't look out when danger is coming. They don't say nothing when danger comes.
Right.
Right.
You understand? They don't say nothing. They don't look out for us. They don't watch out for us.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean, we get killed on the street, we get murdered on the street, drugs come in our communities,
Right.
and they don't say a goddamn thing.
Right.
That's the whole point of the scriptures. Our watchmen are blind dogs.
Right.
They can't
Right.
even bark, which means what? They can't even speak up.
Right.
Right.
You know that what happens, the Christian church doesn't do nothing for black Hispanics or Native American Indians. All they care about is that we gather in their churches. It gives them more pride, because that's what it's all about. It's about the pride that who has more people inside their churches. But you know what, us as Hispanics, you know, we've been like that always. Like we have this love for the Lord that even our ancestors, our grandma, our grandfather, our aunts, you know, they've always taught us, you know, that we should come to the Lord. The only problem is us as Hispanics, we have not learned to understand who the Lord is. And that's why it's time that we understand who the Lord is and that we work. Because what we're doing is we're speaking up for all those that have been destroyed. And when I say destroyed, man, I mean all the drugs in our communities, man. I mean all the killings. You know, our people haven't marched for nothing. Our people have marched because, let me tell you something, our people have marched because we've always known that we've been oppressed in this country. This country was ours. How are we marching for rights when this was already our country a long time ago? You know what I'm saying? The problem is that we've forgotten. We've been colonized by the same people that robbed, raped, and murdered our countries. Now we come here and we act, we talk, we speak. We want to be just like them.
Right.
We even ignore our own the death of our own brothers and sisters because we want to attach ourselves to a nation. We want to become a nation that has hated us always. And let me tell you something.
that we're seeing within that the drugs, the killings, the gangs, and all that happened in our communities, that have happened in our communities, is because we've become blinded to a truth. And the truth is that we've assimilated into a culture that hates us.
That's
You got
right.
you got a precept?
Slicer, whenever you're ready, we got the other story too lined up.
Okay, go ahead.
The book of Exodus chapter 2 verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren.
And let me tell you something. What we're going to hear now is no different than what's happening to us today. What? Give me that precept. What is it?
The book of Exodus chapter 2 verse 11.
Exodus chapter 2 verse 11. If you got your Bible, you want to open up to this precept. You want to open up to this page. We're going to show you how today is no different than what Moses saw. We're all Moses today. Everybody who sees, gets on the media, gets on your phone, gets on Facebook, gets on this. Man, we are Moses today. We are that Moses. We are that spirit that happened to Moses. It's no different then than what it is today, because we're seeing what Moses saw. Our eyes are witnessing in this appointed time the same thing that Moses viewed through his eyes. Read.
Come on, God. And looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew.
Now read from the top again. Read it one. He saw their what?
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren.
Now Moses is grown. That means Moses already had, he was already a leader there. He was already within the kingdom. He was already somebody within the Egyptians. He was grown. He was a man. He was a man who was looked as a leader for the Egyptians. And on that day he goes out into the street. That's us, man. We're grown. We're now educated. We have woken up from what we used to be sleeping. And today when we turn on our phones, we're seeing what Moses saw. Continue reading.
Oh God. And looked on their burdens.
And looked on their what?
Burdens.
Today we look on the burdens of our people. Every time you log on to the media, every time you look onto your phone, every time we post something up, or brother posts something up, a sister posts something up, man, we're looking on the burdens of our people. We're seeing the Native American Indian sisters being murdered and being thrown on the sides of the street, decapitated, killed, missing, thousands of sisters missing. We're seeing our black brothers hung in trees in the East Coast. I just seen a video of a man driving by in a park, and the police is pulling down a black man that was hung in that park. We're seeing a sister being shot by a cop while she's pregnant. We're seeing a brother being thrown on the ground and a knee put into his neck after he's being kicked in the face, after he's handcuffed. We're seeing a brother who's handcuffed and they're sicking a dog on him while they're beating him. We're seeing our brothers and sisters who are coming from Mexico being taken from their families and being put in detention centers and their families. And we're hearing of a man talking about that they should be put in gas chambers, that they should be shot, that they should be killed. We're seeing our people, we're seeing their burdens. These are the burdens of the black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian. These are our burdens. Man, the white mans don't have burdens. Because they lost money, they decide to kill themselves. Because they were bullied at school, they decide to go on a rampage. Because they got a bad check and they didn't, what was it? He didn't get a welfare check, so he went and shot the churches up because they failed to give him EBT. So he decided to go and shoot up the churches. Come on, man, that's not a burden. We live in the ghettos.
That's right.
We live in poverty. We barely making our rents. We're living 3 or 4 families in a home to be able to keep a home. Those are the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian burdens. These are the same burdens that Moses saw in his days. Read.
Come on, God. And he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew.
And he what?
Spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew.
He spotted an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew. That means he spotted an Egyptian guard killing a Hebrew. That's like when we see a white cop killing a black man.
Right.
When we see a white cop killing a Hispanic or a Native American Indian, when we see a white man beating a black woman, when we see a white man taking an old woman's, what was it? She was pushing her cart with selling corn, and the cop went and knocked all her stuff down and wrestled her to the ground and put his knee on her neck and handcuffed her and maced her. That's what we're seeing today. We're seeing our people, and these people that serve this government kill, rob, man, murder, beat our people. Read.
Come on. One of his brethren. And he looked.
One of his what?
Brethren.
Let me tell you something. Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, those are our brethren.
Right.
The people that you see being shot in the street, beaten, those that are out there selling their goods and the cops are taking their goods and beating them and arresting them and taking their money. Those Native American Indian women that are being killed and being found hung, and the black brothers, those are our brothers. How do you know they're our brothers? Because we all live the same way. We all live house to house in the neighborhoods, in the ghettos. We all go to the same schools. We have the same likings. We are the same people. We love the same God. And yet our brothers and sisters are being killed. Continue reading.
Come on. Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
And let me tell you something. Moses killed that man. He killed that guard because the guard was killing one of his brothers. We'll stop right there.
Yeah, Exodus 6 and 9.
Let me tell you something. That's the way we should feel. We should feel anger, rage. We should be, man, enraged when we see a cop doing that to our brothers and sisters. When we see this media on your phone, on your computer, when you see these things, that spirit, that feeling should come on you. Oppression maketh the wise man mad.
Although you should never kill anybody.
Oh,
you should never kill nobody, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's not something we push. You should never kill anybody, but what you should do is feel that pain. You should know where that brother's coming from. You should know that it's wrong for a white police officer to beat on your people, man.
Right.
You should feel that, you know what I mean? Feel that pain, like, damn, that's wrong. Why the hell is he doing that? But one thing I did want to say is this, is that, remember, Moses he was like a senator or a governor, you know what I mean? He was high status in Egypt, you know what I mean? And that brother went down to go see what was going on in the ghetto, to go see what was going on with his brothers. So just picture it like this, like Floyd Mayweather is a high status. You know what I mean? Think about your rich celebrities or your rich pastors. How many of them actually go to the ghetto to see what's going on with their people? None of them.
Right.
None of them actually go down to South Central, whatever it may be, to actually see what is really going on in the hood.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But Moses was a brother that did give a damn. Right. You know what I mean? Moses didn't, you know, he grew up in Egypt, wealthy, riches. He could have lived that life, the good life. But what he decided to do is actually go to the hood and go see what's going on with black and Hispanic people. And when he went down there, what did he see? Police brutality. He saw police brutality when he went to the hood. And not only did he see police brutality, but he saw what? Black on black crime. Black and Hispanic crime.
Right.
He saw us killing each other.
Right.
And that's the same thing that's going on in America today. Police brutality and black and Hispanic people killing each other.
Right.
It's the same thing.
God.
And
let me tell you something. This that we're talking about, like, you know, a lot of people say, you know, oh man, you shouldn't have hate. You know, you should have love. God loves. You know, but how much can you possibly take? You know, you could say, well, you know what, this is something that just happened today. But let's face it, for the Chicano people, the Hispanic people, we've been fighting just to be equal with these people for centuries, man. It happened to us throughout the 1800s. Then it happened to us in the 1900s. Then it happened to us in the 60s and the 70s. And today in the years 2000, we're still fighting because they're separating our families. We're good people, man. Hispanics are good people. They come here to work. You know, oh, you may say, well, you know what, they're out in gang banging, this and that. Man, everybody has that type of people. You know why? Because sometimes we have to wake up to the reality of what's happening to us. But for the majority of Hispanics, man, we're good people, man. We're people who decide, you know what, we're hardworking. We come to this country to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And even some of us, we may go through our age of being, you know, whatever we are. But you know what? We wake up and then we come to terms. And then we have families. And then we have children. And we realize that we don't want our children to grow up like that. But you know what? The white man never sees that from us. To him, every single generation of Hispanic people, we're all the same. We're all murderers, we're all killers, we're all rapists, we're all wetbacks. But you know what? It's time that we wake up and we realize that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, you know what? We all go through the same thing. And sometimes we have to wake up and we got to speak up for our people, because let me tell you something. Not everybody speaks up for your people. There is black people who don't speak up for black people. There's Mexicans who don't speak up for Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with people out there, that they're so ignorant that they'll judge a person, but they'll never help their own people. You know what I'm saying? They'll never stand up and speak. They'll never have something like what we have. We come here every Wednesday and we speak up for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We speak up about our black people, our black brothers being shot and killed in the street, murdered. And there's people that are black that will never speak up. They would rather go and twerk and do their nonsense and watch their movies and be ignorant. But they'll judge you. They'll be like, they'll talk about me, they'll talk about my brothers, they'll talk about all of us, but yet they'll do nothing to wake up their people from being murdered and killed. These people are a waste. These people are people who have no conscience, who have nothing. They are people who are blank. They're better off, man, in the clutches of the white man, because that's the kind of people they are. You know what? We at least have the strength and the spirit to speak up for our brothers, the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. And what we speak is true. We don't get paid. We don't get nothing for speaking out. What we get is that the Lord knows that we're speaking up for our people.
Right.
And that's what's more important. Go ahead.
The brother got precept.
Go ahead with that precept.
Exodus 6:9.
Exodus 6:9.
The book of Exodus, chapter 6, verse 9. And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moses for anguish of spirit.
And let me stop you right there. See, so Moses spoke to the people of Israel. Moses spoke to the black, the Hispanic, and Native American. But you know what they did? What was that?
So like I said,
he spoke to the people of Israel, but they what?
They hearken not unto Moses. Hearken not.
They hearken not. Let me tell you something. There's black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians out there who hearken not. Hearken means to listen, to pay attention, to have some spirit, to have some heart. But you know what? There's black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians who never listen, who decide to choose not to hear these words. Continue reading.
Who? But they hearken not unto Moses for anguish of spirit.
For anguish of spirit. These people are spiritless. These people who hear people like me speaking out for black, Hispanics, and Native Americans have negative things to say to us, because you know what? Their spirit is dead. Continue reading.
And for cruel bondage.
And for cruel bondage. These people that speak against us, they're still in bondage. They're still slaves to the white man. They're still slaves to those people who have robbed, raped, and murdered their ancestors, who raped your ancestors, and you still come up against us. You still think that we speak no truth, but yet we're out here to save our people. Not only here on this program, we go out on the streets. We take the risk of facing our enemy face to face and speaking out against them face to face on the street. But you know what? These people who hearken not, man, they ain't got what it takes. they have no spirit. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say this too, like it says for cruel bondage, meaning like they're just caught up in the whole slavery.
Right.
All they care about is work, and like what I was saying earlier about the whole family. They just want to work for their family, and that's it. You know what I mean? I remember I ran into a brother who I hadn't seen in a long time. I hadn't seen this brother in years, and I always thought like, man, if I tell this truth to this brother right here, man, he gonna come in. You know, I see him one day at the train. I tell him about the truth, gave him a flyer. He's like, man, everything you saying is true. You know, we are getting killed on the street. We are getting deported. You know what I mean? Donald Trump, man, that brother, that cat racist as hell. But I got a family, I got a job, man. I ain't got no time for that. Right. I ain't got time for what you talking about.
Right.
And I was like, damn. You know what I mean? I thought this was gonna be the first cat to come into the school. But he just said straight up, man, I got a job, I got my family, and I ain't got time for none of that what you talking about. And that's what happens with a lot of Hispanics, man. We just caught up in the whole slavery and working.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you don't have time to actually fight for your people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're under that cruel bondage.
Right.
You understand? You just want to work that 9 to 5, go home, drink that beer, and that's it.
That's right.
You ain't trying to do nothing else but that.
Right.
And that's what Moses is doing, man. Moses over there telling the Israelites what's going on. You're in captivity. You know what I mean? They were there killing us on the street.
Right.
You know, people are fighting against one another.
Right.
But they didn't understand it because they're under cruel bondage.
Right.
And that's the same thing that's going on with us. We're on the street, we're telling our people what's going on, and most people don't want to listen.
Right.
But when you do find that one brother, man, understand that one brother that does come in truth is gold.
Right.
That brother he understand and see what's going on with our people.
Right.
That's why every brother in UPK is more precious than fine gold.
That's
Right.
You understand? Because we understand what's going on, and we're willing to sacrifice our lives for the Most High and for one another,
Right.
for each other.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Go.
And let me tell you something. ISUPK is not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
ISUPK is for soldiers, and not everybody is a soldier. There's a famous saying in Spanish: "Los culos no van a la guerra." Right?
Right.
That means the asses, they don't go to war. They're weak. Let me tell you something. You come into the ISUPK and you choose this path, it's because you're a soldier. Because you're a warrior. It's because you've chosen to come up against an enemy that no one in every era has not come up against. And we've chosen to come up against them. We've chosen to take our cross. Isn't that what it says? Take up your cross?
Right.
We've taken up that cross. And that cross is not that cross that the Christian church showed you, or the Catholic church showed you, or that your mom gave you to wear around your neck. That's not that cross. This is a burden. And this burden is to come up and speak against that is your enemy. That burden is that you come out and you study and you learn and you come out and you speak about those that have robbed, raped, and murdered your people. That's a true soldier. Who else are you going to go fight? You know, going to these armies, these soldiers think, you know, these Hispanic people that join this army, these black people that join this army, they think that they're going and training and becoming Navy SEALs and fighting, but you're fighting with your enemy. You're fighting alongside of the same one that has destroyed you, robbed, raped, and murdered you and killed you. The real heroes are those of us that are going to stand up against those that did that and continue to do that to our people. Isn't that what what a true hero is? Let me tell you something. You got these children coming from Central America in this thing called the train of death, el tren de la muerte. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
El tren de la muerte, the train of death. This is a train that comes from Central America and probably beyond that. And this train comes all the way up through Central America, all the way up through Mexico. And these children jump on top of this train. Man, thousands jump on top of this train. Men, women, and children to find a better life in America. And you know what their thought is? The thought of these children that are coming to America is that they're coming to America to make a better life of themselves. They're coming to America to make money that they might go back and help their people. Might go back and help their mom, help their families, help their brothers and sisters from the situation that America has put them in. that they're going to help, and they're going to go and they're going to build a house for their mom. They're going to put food on the table. They're going to do something good for their community. With that purpose, do these children jump on that train to come to America and do right? You know, they come to America and find that they're coming to a country that hates them. They're coming to a country that destroys them. You know, but those are heroes. Those children, in their heart, in their mind, they're heroes. They're coming to do the right thing. The white man's not a goddamn hero. Ain't no superhero on TV or in the movies. No goddamn Captain America. No goddamn Spider-Man. These are not heroes. I'll tell you who the true hero is. The true hero are these Hispanic people that are coming to America to help their people out. You know who the true hero is? The people in the ISUPK. The brothers, the prophets, and the priests in the ISUPK. Because we've chosen to save our people from the destruction that America is going to find. And we've chosen to take this position in this appointed time to speak out and call our people from the dead, from this darkness, from this wicked world that we know the Lord is going to turn its back on. And we're calling them to change and to bring themselves into a new life and change the way they are. That they might also, like all the brothers that have come in here with us, make that change and turn into those heroes that are going to save their people. Because that's what we do here. We're here to save our people from the destruction that America has brought onto us. Go ahead, Lahan.
And you think about this too, like all we're doing is telling our people to stop sinning. We're telling our women stop being whores, telling our brothers stop smoking weed, get off of crack, you know, all of that.
You got that.
And we're looked at as the villains. You know what I mean? Think about how many people come against us because we tell our people to stop sinning. And people hate us for it. You know what I mean? And the white man is telling you to smoke weed, smoke crack, be a whore, be a prostitute, and you look at that devil as the hero. You know what I mean? Like we just not mentally all there, man. You understand? Like what the brother said, that we the real superheroes, man.
Right.
Them black and Hispanic brothers that are on the street, on them corners, man. We're the people. We're the brothers out there trying to save your life.
Right.
You understand? We're trying to save your people from getting killed on the street.
Right.
We're trying to save your brother from having another what do you call it? Drug overdose.
Right.
You understand? From overdosing on drugs, from selling weed and crack.
Right.
We're trying to save our people. We're the real heroes, and the white man is the villain.
That's right.
He's the villain, man. Although you look at him as a hero because you see white Jesus and you see all the white superheroes on Marvel and all of that, man. That's the real villain right there.
Right.
And you gotta understand that. You should teach your kids, man, that the blacks and Hispanics, man, that we the real heroes right here, man.
Right.
Right. Understand? We trying to teach your kids how to serve God and serve Christ and love one another.
Right.
While the white man is teaching you how to hate God and hate Christ and how to hate your people. You understand?
And let me tell you something, for Hispanics, man, if you're Mexicano, if you're from El Salvador, Guatemala, Central America, or even Sudamerica, you know what? It shouldn't be hard for you to come into this truth. Because by nature, we've always been revolutionists. Our ancestors, our people before us, they have always come out to fight against the oppression of those that have taken our country, our land, and all our properties. We have always fought for that. Man, you know, a lot of people mention Zapata, Pancho Villa. I could go through some of the names that are popular, right? But let me go into a name that no one really knows, right? And I'll show you how we've come through everything. Rubén Jaramillo. Rubén Jaramillo was a man who fought with Zapata for land rights for our people. Rubén Jaramillo, after Zapata died, this man rose up to still go and fight the battle for land rights for our people throughout Mexico. This man rose up an army to go against a government that was oppressing the people, because let me tell you something what happened in Mexico. In Mexico, they won the rights to their land, right? Right after Zapata, Pancho Villa, and all these people, Morelos, they fought, okay, we're going to give you land. And they gave our Mexican people these lands, right? But let me tell you something. The problem was that Mexico was being oppressed by a government that took sides with the upper class, the people that were known to have money. And what they were doing, they were oppressing the landowners. You might have had land, but just because you had land didn't mean that you were better off. Because what was happening is the government was choosing who was allowed to sell their product and who wasn't allowed to sell their product. So there was a lot of landowners who may have had a lot of land, but the government decided, you know what, we're not going to give you contracts to sell your food, your tomato, your corn, your avocados, whatever it was. And these people were finding themselves in a position of oppression. They were finding themselves in a position of poverty because their crops were going rotten, because they had no way to sell their food. Because what was happening is the government took sides with American government and French government and Spaniard government, and they could not sell their product. So even in our country, we were finding that the land that we had was no good to us. And we were finding that we were losing complete crops. And our ejidos, our towns, our ranches were becoming desolate. Because you know what? We were not doing nothing with them because the government was oppressing us. And they were not allowing the media, what was known as newspapers in those days, to publish the oppression. That's what happened to Rubén Jaramillo. Rubén Jaramillo wanted to get some of the news columns to print up what was happening, but they were oppressing this truth because the government was siding with American government. What did the American government do? They decided, well, let's grow food in America. And they brought out the Obrero program. So they decided to bring all these people who own land and bring them to America and work here in America. What happened to our people? They rushed to work because our people tried to find a better life. They came to America to what? To more oppression, to more destruction. Not only did they oppress us in our own country, but when we came and served the white man, we became oppressed even in this country.
Right.
So no matter what does it say, Issachar has two burdens. We had a burden in Mexico and we had a burden in America. Our land was being oppressed in Mexico and our land was being oppressed here in America. And this is why when you understand how important it is for Hispanics to come into the ISUPK, to come into this truth, it's because we are a strong people with a strong spirit, that we've always been warrior people. People that have lifted up a voice against oppression. Even our women have been this way. Even our women have helped us side by side to fight the oppression against those who have come up to us and destroyed us. Today, most of the lands in Mexico are now being, you know now why the land is good? Because companies like Whole Foods and Ralph's and all these multi-million-dollar corporations are buying our product from Mexico and bringing it to the States. But Mexico is still in shambles. Mexico is still the same. They flooded our country with drugs and destruction, and we're counting on them to get us out of this hole. It's time we wake up. It's time we realize that the only way that we're going to come up, the only way we're going to get out of oppression is to begin to serve our own people. And that people is Israel, the black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. How beautiful would it be? How productive would it be that we sell to our own people, that we grow our own food, that we cater to our own people, black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, that we cut the middleman, that we don't have infected food, that we don't have food that's been tainted with the poisons, that we give our people the right food, that we treat our people correctly, that we give our workers the right amount to work with. You know what I'm saying? But instead, we cling to our enemy. We take hands and take heed with him that has destroyed us, robbed, raped, and murdered us to this day. And that's why it's important that Hispanics wake up to this truth. Because we're the ones that have always fought for our people. We're the ones who have always raised the voice from the times of our Mexica ancestors to the time of our revolution, to the times of even the 60s and 70s, the marches of the Chicano marches in America, man. We have always been a strong people. Where did we weaken? Where did we fall asleep? Where did we become weakened by our enemy? Where did we decide to hold hands with those that hate us? Well, it's time we wake up to this. It's time that we decide that, you know what, we march on our own, that we take heed and we walk with our brothers and sisters that are also going through the same oppression that we are, with the same enemy that we have. Let's go on to our next story. What you got there?
This is the CNN story, sir.
What's that CNN story?
I got a precept real quick on what you were saying.
Go ahead.
It's Psalms 133:1. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Man, that's the perfect precept. How good it is for our brethren, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, to dwell together in unity. Man, when you go to the Passover, you have never seen unity like what you see at the Passover.
Right.
When you're with the brothers, man, and the sisters at the Passover, it's a beautiful thing to speak to our brothers and sisters. It's a beautiful thing to walk in there and be greeted by, you know what, that brotherhood, that sisterhood, those people that, you know what, I don't want to leave that place. I want the Passover to last forever. You know what I'm saying? I want to be there with all the sisters that greet us, with all the brothers that greet us, man, with all that those that know what we're going through. Man, all in one spirit, all in one mind, all with one love, and that is the love for the Black, Hispanic, and the Native American Indian. Man, you have to experience that, because that's something that has been lost and forgotten. And Most High in Christ, for commanding General Yohana and the ISUPK that has held that through all this time, and has showed us that when we go back and experience this, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's something unbelievable that once you experience that, man, there is no going back. Like, I wouldn't trade that for anything in this world. You know what I'm saying? Right. For anything in the world of the white man. Man, my fondest wish is that the next Passover lasts forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that all of us can see us under that one roof and with all that one brotherhood in the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? And it's an invitation, man, for if you're not in the ISUPK, man, you need to come in here. You need to experience this, because, man, me as a Hispanic, me as you know, as a Mexican, man, I'll tell you something. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen so many brothers and sisters and have that feeling of being in there. You know, my son, my youngest grandson, was running around freely in that place, and I had no worries. I knew he was in good hands. My words to him was, if anything, go to any brother and talk to my brother, because everybody that was in there with my brother. I told him, take refuge with anybody that has fringes on. If he's got fringes on, man, that's who you're going to go to right there. Brothers were looking after my son is 11, looking after our 11-year-old man, looking after him. All those kids were free to run around, not worried about anybody, you know, molesting them or saying anything to them or doing anything to them, because that's the way it should be. Right. That's a kingdom right there. That's unheard of, unseen in a world of confusion, man. In a country of confusion, that's the most perfect place on earth. You know what I'm saying?
If I could too, and it says unity. How good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. These are Black and Hispanic people who are together. No fights, you know, no guns, no beef or nothing like that. You know what I mean? We're dwelling together in unity. Like, without the truth, man, we'd be divided.
Right.
You understand? Like, I remember in the world, man, I didn't really hang out with brothers like that. You know, I didn't have any Black friends. You know what I mean? Nothing like that. All my friends were Mexican, and I came into the truth, and all you know what I mean? Most of the brothers I kick with are you know, are Judites. And then, you know, chopping it up, you find out we all have the same issues, same problems.
Right.
We all have, like, you know what I mean? Same style, everything like that, you know what I mean? We came into the truth, man. Now we together in unity. We brothers, man. We you know, we chopping it up. And we come to find out we all have the same enemy, too.
That's right.
You understand? You find out how, like, not, like I was bringing out before, you know, we all had that one cousin who was a drug addict. We all had that one cousin that got locked up 25 to life. we all, you know what I mean? We all have that story. You talk to a brother, and that brother got the same story as you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That brother knows some that has a cousin that's locked up 25 for life for gang banging. Or he got a brother that's locked up for life for selling crack and weed. You know what I mean? Or he got an aunt that's, you know what I mean, cracked out and is a whore now. You understand? We got that same story in the Hispanic family, and the brothers got that same story in their family. You're gonna find out we are all the same people, and we all under the same oppression.
That's right.
You understand? You can read that scripture one more time. Psalms 133:1. Or yeah, is that what it is? Psalms 133:1. Get it real quick. How pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, man. The only way you can get that unity too, and like we said before, is in the UPK. And the UPK is where Black and Hispanic and Native American Indians can dwell together in unity. You understand? As one people. Go ahead.
Psalms 133:1. A song of degrees of David.
Right.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
And that's what the Lord said. The Lord said that how good and pleasant it is. Go ahead.
For brethren to dwell together in unity.
Dwell together in unity, man. And that's what the Most High wants above everything, is for Black and Hispanic people to be in one.
Right.
To be in unity and not divided. You understand? The white man's the one that caused that division between Black and Hispanic people. We can pull that in Black Indians, how the white man divided our people. But you know, you don't have to get that. But that's what the bottom line is, that the reason why we're divided as a people is because the white man separated us.
Right.
He taught us how to hate one another. You understand? He's the one that put division between Black and Hispanic people. The reason why we hate each other is it all comes down to white supremacy. You understand? The UPK, we're pushing Black and brown unity. You understand? Black and brown, unite or die.
That's right.
You understand? In California, we live in Cali. And Cali, we were taught, you know, Black and Hispanic people to hate each other. But in the UPK in California, man, we're pushing Black and brown unity. You understand? We're pushing Black and Hispanics to love one another, man. And we don't give a damn what the gangs say.
That's right.
You understand? You know what I mean? Whether you're from Southside, Blood, or Crib, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? We're going to be on them streets, and we're going to be teaching that Black and brown unity.
Right.
You understand?
Damn right.
Go ahead, Kazak.
And you know what? You know why we got to share Black and brown unity? Because we're those people that have been separated. You know what I'm saying? We're those people that they've tried so hard to separate Black and Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? And even the separation of Hispanic on Hispanic, you know, it's prevalent in everything we see. They're always, you know, talking about, you know, dividing us. You know, we divide ourselves with gangs. You're quick to kill your brother for coming onto your turf, onto your territory, or going into your neighborhood. But you never say nothing when the white man gentrifies your neighborhood.
Right.
You don't have nothing to say when they kick your grandma out, when they take your parents out, when they're building condominiums in your neighborhood that you can't afford. When Lincoln Heights, when Highland Park, when Boyle Heights, when East LA, where downtown is being gentrified, where are those gang members that we used to know in the neighborhoods that used to not allow anybody to go in them? Where are they at? Where's all that hardcore cholada, right? That used to go down there and hold up your street, hold up your neighborhood, and be hard. Where are they at now? You know what? We need you now. Where you at? Because we need you.
Right.
We need you to come in here and help us out. Because you know what? Our neighborhoods are being destroyed by the white man.
Right.
They're forcing my family to move out to the desert, to where San Bernardino, to where else? Out there in the deserts, man. You know what I'm saying? They're forcing us to move out there because they're raising the rents, raising our mortgages, raising our utility bills, and destroying our neighborhoods with the white and the Asians coming in.
That's right.
And those neighborhoods that we used to know for decades, that were our areas, are now being taken from us. You know what I'm saying? And where are those people now? Where are those hardcore gangbangers? You know, you still got the name tattooed on your arm, but your neighborhood is no longer yours.
You still got the 626 on your neck, but that area code is no longer yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still have that placazo of what you were, but let me tell you something. It's no longer yours. All that is gone. All that has been taken from you because now it's somebody else's. Now the white man has gentrified you and pushed you out of your neighborhood, and now you are moving to Victorville. Now you are moving to Palmdale. Now you are moving to San Bernardino because you know what? You can no longer afford the housing where you used to live. Now yours is being taken by somebody else. And let me tell you something. Absolutely right, brother. You know what? Mexico used to be, California used to be Mexico, but now it's part of America. And your neighborhood used to be your neighborhood, but now it's no longer your neighborhood. Now it's the neighborhood of another race. Right. And you've been pushed out, and now you find yourself in another neighborhood that you got to start all over again. It's funny, man. You're going to have your hood written on your arm, living in the desert. And all you're going to have is the memories of some place you used to be at. Why? Because you've allowed these people to come in and take your neighborhoods. And worse, man, it's not only you. Now all your generations are going to be pushed out. Now all your people are going to be living somewhere else. Now you have allowed them to come and take your property. And once again, they robbed you. Just the way they robbed you back in the 1800s, in the 1600s, in the 1700s. Once again, they're robbing you all over again. Once again, they're taking your property and they're stealing from you. And you know what? You have nothing to say. You are no longer that cholo, that hardcore person, that gangbanger, that you know, whatever you want to call them, that used to live in that hood. You're no longer that person. Now you're just somebody else living in the desert with your family. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you can no longer afford to live in your community that not only you lived in, but your ancestors lived in. Now you're going to look at that movie Cheech and Chong. You're going to look at the movie of, what is that? I don't know, Boulevard Nights. All those movies that showed East LA and all your neighborhoods. And you're going to realize those are no longer your neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods now belong to the person who gentrified it and took it from you. Boyle Heights is simple, is easy to see. You go to Boyle Heights today, and those condominiums are moving block to block to block. And you know what? You have nothing to say. Where is your clique now? And let me tell you something. Out there on, where were we at?
Hollywood.
First Street.
Downtown LA.
No, we were on First Street and Soto. That had that, what was that written all over the walls?
Oh, in East LA?
In East LA? I can't remember the name of that hood. But they got they're tagging up all the neighborhoods in East LA, Soto and First. If you go down there, they got all the walls written up. You know what? Right up, because those days are coming to an end. And you know what? Those kids that are out there tagging up those neighborhoods, they're not going to be holding up their neighborhood. They're going to allow the white man to go in there and take that neighborhood from them. Because that's all they do. That's all the white man does. He ain't got to do nothing to you. All he's got to do is raise your rent, raise your property, and take you out. You got that? Go ahead, read.
The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 5. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how out thou cut off, would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Let me tell you something. The white man is the thief. He has come into your neighborhood and he has taken everything. And he has taken it and he has not had enough. He will continue taking your neighborhoods, taking your properties, taking your homes. And you know what you'll do? You won't do nothing. You'll stand there and watch them gentrify your neighborhoods and watch them take your neighborhoods. And you know what's the saddest thing? Is that they'll go in there and they'll build a stadium there. And in a few years, you'll be wearing that shirt that represents that team that's moving into that stadium. where your family was kicked out of. And you'll be wearing that shirt and going to those games like an idiot. Because you'll go and you'll show support and you'll even give them more money after they took you out, took your property, threw your families out, and built a stadium on your hood. And you're going to go and wear your goddamn shirt and give them your money and take your people, and you're even going to fight in the street because of your team. Right. You'll support a team, you'll support the white man's team and give the white man your money before you support your hood.
Right.
So what good is it for you to put on the name of, I don't know, Soto Street, First Street, or whatever street you want to call it? What good is it to do that when you'll be supporting the white man? Let me tell you something. That's not a story that I'm making up. That's what happened to Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium used to be Chavez Ravine, and that area held a large population of Hispanic families. And you know what happened to those Hispanic families? They were forced out by the police, by LA Police Department. They went there and bulldozed their homes and took their families out by force. And today, you know what Mexicans are doing? They're going over there where they built Dodger Stadium on top of that property, and they're proud to be Dodger fans. You're going out there and you're buying all the Dodger gear, Dodger hats, Dodger shirts, Dodger calzones, and you're wearing them proudly. And you're fueling those same people that gentrified your neighborhoods. Right. Dodger Stadium was built on top of the properties of Hispanic people that lived there for decades. And the white people went there, the LA people went there, the white man went there, bulldozed their homes, took the people out, and built Dodger Stadium over their homes, right, over their neighborhood.
If I could too, it's like this, like, you know, if you hit a lick, right, you go break into a house, you take some things, right, but you don't take every goddamn thing inside the house, right? The white man go into your house and take everything. Everything. Hey, you think about this. Damn, you know, like right. What the white man did is, like, he stole America, right? That's a fact. And now then he went and stole California, Texas, and Mexico. He stole that. And then he went and took L.A. And then he put us in the slums of L.A. Right. He put us in the ghettos and everything like that. And then he went and took that too. Right. You know, what you were saying was Chavez Ravine. Chavez Ravine was like a little city, you know what I mean? It wasn't no fancy rich city or nothing like that. It's just where Mexicans dwelt, you know what I mean? Just thinking like, you know, we had a little swap meets and everything like that, you know, just within ourselves. And they went and took that too. They went and took South Central, took Compton, took all of that, man, and then kicked us out. The white man don't ever get enough.
Right.
You want to keep taking and taking and taking. Eventually, he'll take Victorville too.
Yeah, that's
he'll take the desert from you.
Right.
And who knows where you're gonna be? The white man just hungry. He just takes everything. He will never have enough.
Right.
You understand that? And that's just his spirit. He just wants to take more, take more, take more, and take more, and take more, and oppress you and kill you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all I want to say.
Right. And let me tell you something. That's heavy because what happens is that as we're getting pushed out, we're losing ground. We're losing our homes. We're losing our family. We're losing family value because let me tell you something. Mexicans may live in ghettos, but they're beautiful ghettos. We may live in the barrios, but they're beautiful barrios. We may live in the hood, but they're beautiful hoods. Let me tell you, some of your best days were living in those hoods. Some of the best times you had was living in those areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, why else would you want to move anywhere else? You know what? You move into a neighborhood where it's predominantly white. Let me tell you something. You can forget about turning your radio up. You can forget about having friends over late at night.
Right.
You can forget about having people driving up your street to visit you. You know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you something. The truth is that they don't want you in that neighborhood.
Right.
That's why when you try to rent a house in their neighborhoods, man, when you're trying to rent, they look real strict at your application, and they don't want you in those neighborhoods.
Right.
And they're slowly pushing you out of the areas that we built. Let me tell you something, man. The graffiti on our walls is beautiful graffiti on our walls. You know what I'm saying? the cars we drive, the lowriders, whatever car you have, with the bumpy, noisy sound, it's a beautiful car you have. Your girlfriend's coming over and getting ready to go out that night, man, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is that we're so fond of our enemy that we forget how beautiful our kingdom is. We forget how beautiful our way of life is. You know what I'm saying? These people make money off of how we are, but we forgot how beautiful we are. Right. You know what I'm saying? We've forgotten how beautiful our Mexican women are. We've forgotten how beautiful our black women are. We've forgotten how beautiful our lifestyle is. And what we've done is we have cleaned onto a nation of people who are dirty and nasty.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
And if I could too, like even in slavery, even captivity, even in the ghetto, we still got that flavor.
Right.
You know what I mean? When the scriptures say that you are the salt of the earth, man, it was joking about that. You know, in the ghetto, we got the flyest cars, we got the flyest women, we got the flyest music. You know what I mean? Yeah, we gangbang and, you know, we might be selling weed and crack, but damn, goddamn, man, we still the best people on the face of the earth.
Damn right we are.
In our evil, we still fly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Imagine what it would be like in righteousness.
Right.
And imagine if we kept the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, what kind of people we would be like if we were serving the Lord.
Right.
You know what I mean? We gonna be on top, and that's why the white man pushing us to be homosexuals.
Right.
That's why the white man pushing that weed and crack on us, man, because he's trying to like destroy us completely.
Right.
He want us to at the bottom. Because he knows once we have that righteousness, once we with the Lord, man, we gonna rise up and rise up and rise up, and eventually we gonna be right over him.
Right.
And he gonna be right under us. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, we go back to that scripture where it says that he took crafty counsel on us, man, because he's just trying to destroy us completely.
Right.
Because he knows what happens when we serve the Lord. He knows what happens when we keep the commandments. He knows we gonna be right on top of him.
Right.
Right.
And the white man, he ain't trying to have that. What was you gonna say, Oscar?
I was gonna touch on your point, sir, where you were saying how, you know, we the best at everything. We the salt of the earth. It's like today, you know, all we wear is shakas and pro clubs, plain white tees with some basketball shorts, and we still the flyest out there. You know, we got them basketball caps. We still the flyest out there. In the '80s, you know, brothers was buying the cheapest clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? White tees. You know, and then $5 hats or snapbacks.
Right.
You know, and then now snapbacks is like a big thing.
Right.
You know, like you know, just touching on what you said, sir. Like everything we do, we turn to gold.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Everything we touch turns to gold, man. Black Hispanics and Native American Indians, we got this thing where no matter what we touch, it becomes something.
Right.
I'm gonna make a perfect example. And it's something that, you know what, we know it's not for us, but weed. When the white man has weed, it's just a fucking drug.
Right.
It's just a drug. But when blacks, Hispanics get weed, it becomes a trend. Let's face it, man. People like Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and all these people, they made weed cool today. They made smoking dope is a good thing, you know.
Right.
So much that the white man has embraced it now. Now they've made it like the thing. Like now smoking dope is like the shit now. You know what I mean? Before it was like, but Israel took a hold of it and they've made it the thing. Lowriders at one point, they were like, you know, they were a ghetto thing. But today you go to Japan and there's lowriders everywhere in Japan. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's become the thing in Japan to have a lowrider. You know what I'm saying? We get the minimal and we make the most out of it. And let me tell you something, it becomes a trend for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We get whatever we may have, you know, like today we're wearing the Dickies, bro. The Dickies were something that, you know, they were work pants.
Right.
Dickies were something you went to work with. You know what? The West Coast, they got the Dickies, man. They ironed them, put those creases on them, and now it's a thing to wear. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And in the truth, I'm gonna bring it to the truth. Man, we get them Dickies out. Style 7.
Right. Yeah,
And we put them fringes on them dickies.
Right,
Put
damn
them
right.
studs
That's
and
some West
spikes and
Coast
everything
shit
like
right
that.
there.
You know, we get the Dickie shirt, you know,
Yeah,
cause
right.
you know what I mean? Cause
Yeah,
get
yeah,
down on
man.
Dickie shirt. Fringes,
Man.
shields, and everything like that. We got the
Hey.
$20 Dickies out
Hell yeah.
and make them things look fly as hell.
Hell yeah.
In the
Right.
truth.
Hey
Right.
man, hey, Israel's got to watch out for that. West Coast is breaking out the Dickies and putting fringes on them, and pretty soon it's gonna be the thing. You know what I mean? We get them Dickies and we deck them out with everything, make them look fly. You know, because that's the way you are. We get the minimal, man. We get a house, a kitchen, a bedroom, and we make a show out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing to hold us back. We get whatever we got and we make the best of it. You know why? Because that's the way we're brought up. You know what I mean? We're brought up to make the best of anything we got. What little is given to us, we'll make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't got a lot to work with, but we got a whole lot of creativity that the Most High has given us. That you know what? That we get away with. And yeah, you know what I mean? I mean like we get like this year we went to we went to the Passover. All of us were, all of us were in Dickies. You know what I'm saying? Real nice creases. You know, now we're putting fringes on our Dickies. Now we're wearing the Dickies. You know, we're putting them up. You know what I mean? We were, you know, that poor man's clothes. And today we're making it look fly. You know why? Because that's the way, man. You know, that's the way we are. That's the way we do it. And let me tell you why I got the Dickies. Because I found out that Dickies come from Central America. Dickies is being made in Central America. In Guatemala. Guatemala makes the Dickies. So I was like, oh, what? Guatemala makes Dickies? Well, let's represent our people. You know what I'm saying? So always we try to do the best that we can. You know, I don't want to wear no Chinese goddamn clothes. So, man, Most High in Christ, right? He looked out after us. That he made Dickies in Guatemala. Like, what more can we ask for? The Lord is looking out for us. Go ahead.
Also, too, sir, like I don't mean to get on that point too much, but when you were talking about the greasers, that's
greasers.
like a heavy example too. You could like go into that briefly real quick, like because you know better than me. You know what I'm saying?
The greasers, man. You know what they did. You know, Hispanics used to have this hairstyle where we grease our hair back. You know what I mean? We would get this thing where we grease our hair back. We'd be like white tees, jeans, and greaser, you know. And even back then in the 30s and 40s, we were sporting our rides, trying to make a typical ride, and we'd find something to do with it. 40s, 50s, you know. And the white man started getting this thing where he started calling us greasers, and it's
You were saying how it was it was one of the cheapest jobs you could get out there.
Yeah, cheapest job you can get, greasing, ball greasing, fucking bearings and stuff like that. But the derogatory word, right, against us, they use that word against us by calling us greasers. You know, oh, look at that greaser, look at that Mexican, he's a greaser. They give us these names, these ways of describing us in the lowest form they could. And wouldn't you know it, that we became such a prize to them, such a good thing. We became so overwhelming that eventually they could no longer judge us. They had to become just like us. And later on, what you have that movie Grease, right, with John Travolta. Later on, you got Grease. Later on, you got Fonzie, right? Isn't that Fonzie from Happy Days? Later on, you got all these Italians and white boys trying to be greasers. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, my homeboy had 3 flores in his head. That's right, Tazaba. Hell yeah, Tazaba. Tres flores. You know, the grease yourself back with tres flores. You know what I mean? Vaselina. You know, and so, you know, they saw the style we have, and what did they do? They copied our style. You know, pretty soon they took the style and then they claimed it for themselves. Because why? Because they have that media, you know. They begin to use the media and uplift themselves. But in reality, where is it coming from? It's coming from us. You know what I'm saying? Today they got the whole hip-hop thing. And who's hip-hop? Oh, now you got these white people trying to teach people hip-hop. God damn it. That's a sin. Right. You know? But where does it come from? It comes from us, you know. And we never go all up. We're just like, you know what? That's who we are. That we always find a way. You know what I mean? We find these trends, we find these things that we make the best of it. The zoot suit. Where did the zoot suit come from? That come from us right there. You know, the Hispanics, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans. You know, Perez Prado. If you don't know about Perez Prado, you should look at Perez Prado, the big band era Perez Prado with his zoot suit. You know, dancing. Where is, man, real dancing? You know what I'm saying? You look at Perez Prado and who else? Resortes from Mexico. You see these people who were zoot suit dancers. You know, you begin to understand that how beautiful the Hispanic and Latin America and the black and all these, you know, these cultures are. You know what I'm saying? How precious we are. How we come a long way and bring such a great contribution to culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, you had something to say?
So we're still on that story.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's get that story out. Yeah, man. You know, I just gotta. Sometimes I just, you know, I gotta bring that out for my people. You know what I mean? Because I know how beautiful my people are. You know what I mean? You got it? Go ahead.
This is a story on children sleeping on grounds.
Oh.
On the ground, on border patrol stations.
You know, it's sad because you know what? Even though we have all this talent, even though we're such a great people, and even though we speak of these things and get excited for who we are, we understand that even though we have all this beauty, our people are still being treated like if we're animals. You know, our people are still being looked at as if we're less than anybody else. Our children today are being separated, and not only separated from their families, but they're being treated, you know, like animals, like if they have no reason. You know what I mean? Go ahead and read that.
Okay. Photos obtained exclusively by CNN show migrants at the McAllen, Texas Border Patrol station over the weekend.
Where's that at?
The McAllen, Texas Border Patrol station.
Okay, go ahead.
Many of whom are children, sleeping on the ground on rocks and covered by mylar blankets. A baby bottle filled with milk can be seen in one photo next to a child sleeping outside on dirt.
And let me bring that over here. Let me show you.
And in another, a woman is seen sitting on rocks, leaning against a wall, clutching a child. In others, migrants are seen seemingly wandering the premises, which has 4 temporary tents to accommodate the swell of migrants approaching the U.S.-Mexico border. One photo shows an agent holding a megaphone and a sea of migrants outside the station. The photos came from a source who had access to the facility and was distributed by the conditions over the weekend. Customs and Border Protection have confirmed the images are of the McAllen border station. Quote, nobody, no matter who you are, where you are from, should spend an hour like this. This is the United States of America, not in our country. The source, who has seen the conditions firsthand, said. An official from the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees Customs and Border Protection, responded to the photos in a statement saying, in part, as multiple DHS officials have been warning for months, the border security and humanitarian crisis continues to worsen. Current facilities and founding of an inaccurate for migrants flows. The officials citing the administration's request the additional resources to house migrants and legislative change to stem the flow of migrants.
So hang on there. Let me tell you something. What's happening here is that we're seeing that America is housing our children. They're not even housing the children no more. They're just putting them out there to sleep outside in the dirt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is what's happening. Like they're not even using the money, because they get money, right? They get money to house the kids or supposedly to have them in facilities, but they're no longer using facilities. Now they're just putting these kids wherever to sleep. You know what I'm saying? They're treating our children like if they're animals. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even care what happens to them anymore. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? People should understand that what used to be that they had them inside a facility, now they're just sleeping outside. They're taking our children, they're taking our brothers and sisters, and they're just doing whatever with them now. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even care anymore where they sleep, whether they have a roof on top of their head or not. All they're doing now is they're just throwing them anywhere. And let me tell you something, that's shameful, man, because we're a great people, we're a great nation. Right. You know, we are people who come here to work. We are people who come here to come up ahead. And most of these people, like I said before, they travel from a long way to find a better life, not only for themselves. Man, let me tell you something. Most of these people, they're not greedy. They're not like, I'm going to go find a better life for myself. They're coming over here with the intention to go back and help their families.
Right.
They're coming over here with the intention that they might find a better life in America, and you know what? Go back and bring their families out of poverty. And you know what America is doing? America is putting them out like if they were animals. America is housing them. These are children. Housing them like if they were caged animals. They're making them sleep out in the streets. Well, not on the street, but out in the dirt like if they're nothing. And let me tell you something. That's a shame. Because America is supposed to be a humanitarian country.
Right.
That's supposed to help humanitarian humans. You know, they all about, America's all about, I'm going to make a movie of a superhero that helps better the world. Doesn't America want to better the world? America's a goddamn lie. They're not here to better the world. They're out here to better themselves. They're out here each man for himself. That's what America is about. America is not about helping anybody but itself. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to do nothing good, because if they were trying to do something good, they would not have these children sleeping outside in the dirt. Go ahead, Oscar Warren.
I was going to touch on a little bit on what you're saying, sir, and about the event. How when you read the book, there's a book out. It's called the Black Indians: A Hidden Heritage by Lauren Kratz.
Okay.
Right. And in that book it says how the white man, when he needs somebody, he uses them, but when they no longer of any use, he destroys them.
Right.
And that's the same thing that he's doing with us today.
God.
And you go back to the Mexican-American War, when they took half of the land of Mexico due to the war, the Hispanics that decided to stay in Mexico, they convinced those Mexicans to cross the border to America, even though it was illegal. The white man and his laws, it was illegal to bring a Mexican to America, and they still brought him over. They brought us illegally to the United States. At that time, they didn't have a problem bringing us to the United States. They didn't have a problem with bringing Mexicans to America. They didn't have a problem at that time because it was convenient for them.
Right.
But now, when we need to come to America and get refuge, because hell is going on in Mexico and in Honduras, El Salvador, Honduras. Now, when we want help, they don't want to help us.
Right.
And furthermore, the thing that we're trying to leave from Honduras, El Salvador, they took a part in that. They took a part in corrupting those places where we live, And now when we want help, they don't give a damn about us. They don't care about us,
You're right. You know what? It's true. America uses people when they need them. and they've always done that. You know, I can you bringing that up, I can go back to the 1950s when America did the Obrero program. 1940s and 50s, they bring people from Mexico to work in the fields of America and paid them pennies. They treated them so bad that they had to rise up and march for workers' rights. And you know what? America used them, and then when it was time to go, they deported them. They paid them pennies, and once they used them, they did an all-out war with the Repatriation Act with Eisenhower, and then began to deport people. Go ahead.
And also too, during that time when they brought us from Mexico after the Mexican-American War, they brought us to the U.S. and they started lynching us after.
God.
You know, they started lynching us. They would hang us. That's the same time that the so-called African Americans were getting lynched.
Right.
They were getting lynched in the South, and we're getting lynched in the Southwest in Texas, getting burned alive. They would hang us and chop off our body parts, burn us alive. The same thing that they were doing to the Judite brothers, to the so-called blacks, they were doing it to us.
You know, Pancho Venegas says his dad was working for 3 cents with the oranges. Let me tell you something, Pancho Venegas. You know what? A lot of us have parents, have families that work the fields because that was the job that we took on. Let me tell you something about all of us, man. The only reason you got an education, the only reason Mexicans go to school and get diplomas and stuff like that is because someone in your family marched for your right to go to school. Someone in your family decided that, you know what, they're going to stop being a damn slave and they're going to go raise a voice and march for equal rights for your people. And let me tell you something. Those are the reason why a lot of us are here today, being able to speak, being able to rise up and do this, because you know what? Somebody in our family decided to speak up. But today, America is filled with cowards who decide to take the simple way out. And that is to keep their mouths shut and twerk. And keep their mouths shut and go to work. You know what? Be not one of those people. It's time that us as Hispanics begin to raise up our voice and begin to speak up against the atrocities happening to our people. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Do you have something, Oscar Warren? So let me tell you something.
Go ahead. Sir.
Go ahead.
So like, let me get it real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he had destroyed thee. Also verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. That's it right there.
And let me tell you something. They show no respect for us. They show no mercy for us. And that's why it is that we need to, come together and raise our voice against what's happening to our people. Because let me tell you something, this is not going to stop. We have not seen the end to what's happening to our children. You know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you something. All these are our children. These are our generations that we live in today. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't speak up, who's going to speak up? Let me tell you something. Every generation has people that speak up. Every generation has, heroes. Every generation has that strong person. You know what I'm saying? And this generation is going to have that people. This might be the last generation. You know what I'm saying? The Lord tells us, man, it's almost the end. Why not be those people? Why not be those people that are going to raise a voice against what's happening to our Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian brothers? Let me tell you, the tragedy of the black man is being killed and murdered on the street. The tragedy of the Hispanic is this here. We're being deported and separated from our families. Go ahead.
Also, too, you go to the Native American Indian sisters, North American Indian sisters.
God.
Sisters at the reservations, they're going missing.
Right.
You know, they're being used as sex trafficking.
Right.
You know, plenty of other bad, horrible things are going on, but a lot of sisters, you know, are being raped, molested, kidnapped from the reservations.
Right.
And the percentage of people who are doing that to them who get caught is way lower than sisters in America and white women in America.
And let me tell you something, man. There's people who go out and do this work, right? And then there's brothers who choose to open their mouth against other brothers, man, but they'll do nothing to help our people out. You know what I'm saying? You got something coming up?
I got a piece of, sir.
Go ahead.
Who's going to go out and do the work of the Most High?
Go ahead. Who's going to go out and do the work of the Most High?
This is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
And that's what we're doing here. We're here to feed our people, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, with knowledge and understanding. Continue reading.
And it shall come to pass when ye be multiple, when ye be multiply and increase in the land in those days, said the Lord, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant. I think I said on this.
So that's us, man. This is the time for us to gather together. And you know what it is? It's time for us to wake up and gather our people and speak. And let us be the ones to wake up, you know, the dead that are walking around unknowing what's going on. Man, we know what time it is. We know it's time to wake up our people, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. You know why? Because if we don't do this work, who's going to do this work? Who's going to come out here and speak about the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian going through these tragedies that we're going through? Man, we're here every Wednesday speaking up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you know what? The truth is, man, who would do this to these people? Who would be the kind of person to go out and destroy us? You know, who has that kind of, you know, have some dignity when it comes to humanity? You know what I'm saying? The America is real humane. Oh, humane all over. You know, they're the ones, the United Nations, trying to hold peace, trying to do the right thing. But in reality, they're monsters.
Right.
In reality, this is a nation that hates Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
That's right.
This is a nation who has no compassion for our people. And right here in the ISUPK, we're going to come out and we're going to speak about it. We're going to talk about the things that are important. We're going to talk about those things that, you know what, separate us from everything else, from everybody else.
Right.
Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Man, we're the ISUPK. This is the Inconvenient Truth. We're here every Wednesday, man. We're the Cali Kings, man. We're here to speak up for the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian.
That's right.
We're here to put it down and let you know, man, that you are a special people. That the Lord loves you, man, and that He wants you to come back to His law, statutes, and commandments. That you might be saved, that He might have mercy on you and bring you into the glory. Man, come on in and join the ISUPK and help us to spread this word and wake up our Hispanic, Black, and Native American Indian brothers and sisters, that they too might have the opportunity to be saved from being killed in the street, to be saved from drugs, to be saved from, you know, the atrocities that are being committed in America. It's time that we all take this burden. It's time that we all take up this work and we do this and we call on our people. Man, this is the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, and we're coming out of California. We are, the ISUPK Cali. We're here every Wednesday. We're here to bring out our people. Don't forget, tune in to us every Wednesday. If you got any questions, good time to post them up right now. Let us know if you got any questions, any comments. Let us know. We're going to bring them out, before we get out of here, and let you know you come out here every Wednesday and check us out, And we're here to bring our people, so tune in to us. Don't forget to log on to the Inconvenient Truth Kazakh Yad at YouTube. We're there too. You can catch us there, or you can catch us on ISUPK California. You can catch us there too. Don't forget to log on to our YouTube channel. Man, friend us, spread the word, share this video, get our people to wake up, man. It's our duty. Everything we do is something to help us out.
Right.
So don't forget to join us every Wednesday. With that, man, we're going to say shalom to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Black and brown together all the time, man. Here in the ISUPK, we're breaking it down, man. We're bringing it. And we're going to show you that fire. And we're going to have all of you join us. And, man, come into this truth. Get your black on. Get your black on, you know, and get into this truth. Log on to our channel, you know, and make sure that you join us and check out all the other channels, isupk.com. Right. That's where you're going to get all the information. For now, this is Kazak Yad, Officer Yad of the ISUPK, California. With that, that's our show. And thank you for joining us. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Atah. Till next week, Shalom, Israel.